You don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village. Facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Jeez. Told you. Buy our merch, indeed, a child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
More. Yes, dear, you gotta...
Down.
Like, turn it, like... Because, like, I'm completely cut off from the just... Yeah, there you go. That's fine. That's good. That's good. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener.
Hello.
We have returned, dear
Welcome
listener.
to the show.
Welcome to the metal. The metal is on the way for you people. I heard you guys are metalheads. I heard you guys like rock music, so let's see. Let's see it.
This is the Imperishable Flames, as you may know. We have a lineup of, I believe, 7 songs tonight. All by the Imperishable Flames. The first one is from Negative Vibes. So let me know when you're ready to.
Negative Vibes is like literally like one of the most positive people we have in the village. Like no BS.
But still, the candle's not showing.
Yeah. We had it perfect. All right, here goes Negative Vibes. See, what did I tell you? Right on schedule. Welcome back, gang. I'm also back from a 10-day trip to a very non-touristy part of southern Mexico. I have been to, anyway.
Well, on that note, let's begin. All right, you guys.
18 in this bitch. What's up, 18? It's so good to see Sori again.
And Vin too, I guess.
And Vin too. Yeah, that's gonna be one of the OG, what do you call it? Trivia questions. What was Vin's original name in the channel? And the original name was Paperweight.
Ridiculous.
Because everybody, all the comments were like, that girl, she's so sweet. Oh. She's so nice, blah, blah, blah. Anytime I'd show up without Sori, they'd be like, yo, Vin, hey, we're Sori.
I actually always liked that because sometimes I was like sick with pregnancy or whatever, and I'd hear you in the other room. Yes, I know. Sorry, but you would also miss me too, so it was cute. Yeah. All right, you guys.
Thank you, Joe to go. Thank you, Joe to go. I appreciate you, baby. Thank you. Finally, some respect.
We're gonna have a fun night tonight.
Put some respect on my name, bitches.
Actually, I heard this is supposed to be a fun stream. So let's see.
Yeah,
we'll be the judge of that.
That's what I heard from, I think it was somebody.
All right, so Negative Vibes is our first pick tonight. Casualties of Cool, Mountaintop.
What happened to our thingy on top? Oh.
Is it this?
No.
Okay.
Well, yeah, maybe it's that. Maybe it's that. do that there.
Yeah, it was covering my computer, so I sort of liked it.
Oh, okay.
I'm a really big fan of Devin Townsend, says Negative, especially when he stretches out and gets creative.
Oh, wait, Devin Town? Oh, I never even heard of this band. All right, continue.
Especially when he stretches out and gets creative. Around 2012, he collaborated with singer-songwriter Chi-Emi Dorval and put together a concept album under the name Casualties of Cool. That's a blend of blues, country, and spacey ambient music. Devi had this to say about it. Casualties of Cool is a duo with myself and Shay. Would you say Shay?
Where?
Shay?
Shay.
Shay. It sounds like haunted Johnny Cash songs, late night music, completely isolated sounding and different than anything I've done. Che sings most of the leads and is probably the truest reflection of who I am in life at this point. Wow.
Che, the other guy, is the truest reflection?
No, I think that what he's saying is Che sings most of the leads, and it's probably the truest reflection. So I think this type of music is the truest reflection of who I am at this point in life. Okay, so Negative says, I picked out one of the singles from the album titled Mountaintop, and I'm going to send you the lyrics, Vincent.
Ben Webb talks to me on a regular basis. I don't know if he's going to come back because...
That is such a scary picture of me.
Which one?
It looks like Cruella de Vil.
Yeah. I try to tell what's-his-face to put some weight on you. Because I feel like that would have evened it out. But, you know, hey, what can you do? Video description timestamp. That's right.
That's right.
Forgot.
How could we forget?
Shout out to the big homie. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Let's go with 12:25.
Gotcha.
Actually, let's just do 12:25. All right, song number 1. Casualties of Cool Mountaintop. Hopefully, this is not an official video. We continue. Here we are.
Are you sure?
And all the way, I'm all thinking about you.
was song numero uno. The
That.
first song we have reviewed since our hiatus.
Yes, it's our return.
Since our return.
Wow, that was such an interesting song. First of all, it had a real, like, sort of earthy sort of sound to it, but also spacey. Mixed in together. I really liked that. And then, obviously, lyrically, it was pretty interesting because, well, there's a couple of different ways you could look at it. He's talking about, go with the man to the mountaintop, and all the way up, I'm only thinking about you, child, which a couple things comes to mind. One is, you know, like they always have like the wise man on the top of the mountain, you know, you got to go to that wise man and figure it out. It's also kind of reminds me of like the journey that I think anybody that's trying to better themselves takes, where it's climbing. Like, I think that we know, the effort. Like, I think we all know what it is to, like, slump into, like, the depths of, like, the sludge and just sort of, like, lay there and stay there for a little while. But I think when you're trying to, like, grow as a person and you want to become something different and you want to see, like, where you can go, like, there is this effort, that you have to put out. It also makes me think of Abraham with Isaac. Going to the mountaintop, I'm only thinking about you, child. So those were the three things that kind of came to mind for that.
Well, it's interesting, like, because you talked about earthy and spacey, and then look at the lyrics. I'm on the mountaintop all the way. I'm only thinking about you. And then he talks about being on the phone. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's got that like ancient wisdom thing going on, and then it's like, I'm talking to you on the phone, which I like, because that's kind of the world that we live, especially like me and you. You know, you're more earthy, let's walk outside in bare feet, and I'm more, the aliens and the technological ramifications of UAPs and
We're like literally taking a walk today, right? And I'm like trying to like feel the air. I'm looking at the tops of the trees, the sky. Vinny's walking beside me asking Grok questions. Like, this is us. And
That's
you know,
true.
I used to get like stressed out about that, because I would be like, just be with me looking at it. But then I'm like, you know what? We're both walking together. This is really cool. And you're doing what, like, you are enjoying this. You're still getting your fresh air. And I don't have to look at Grok. I can look at the surroundings and, you know, we can kind of do our thing while still being together doing it. But yeah, that is interesting, because there is this, like, there's like that struggle of like the effort of trying to like go somewhere, but then like you're just practical, like you're also on the phone. Is that what you're pointing out? Like the...
Well, no, I was just talking about how the sound was kind of futuristic and earthy.
Mm-hmm.
And then the lyrics are
Mountaintop
kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
The child part is interesting because child probably doesn't literally mean child here. It probably means child in the sense of Sweet Child of Mine, that song. I think it was a Guns N' Roses song. By the way, if you're a Guns N' Roses fan, we're going to be doing Guns N' Roses Tuesdays on Patreon. We can't do it on YouTube because the YouTubians will destroy us. But we can shoot videos on Patreon. But anyway, you know that song, Sweet Child of Mine? That, I'm assuming that was his girl. Like, it was his girl.
And there.
When it says, I'm just thinking about you, child, where he says lady later on.
Yeah.
All the ladies in the world just thinking about, and all the babies in the world just thinking about. It kind of like threw me for a little bit of a loop, but I still think it's pretty much about, it might be a relationship song. I don't know. Go with the man to the mountaintop. He's not saying go with me. He's saying go with the man. So who is the man? Go with the man to the mountaintop, all the way up. I'm only thinking about you, child. I'm on my way. I know the way now.
See, it kind of seems like he's trying to better himself.
Yeah, he's trying to have some.
Go ahead.
No, go.
Well, because you said I'm just thinking about you, child. Like, it kind of makes you think of, like, you know, like there's sometimes relationships where they don't like work out because one or both parties have parts of themselves that they need to work on, and like if and maybe this is one of the reasons why God is against divorce, is because maybe if we gave ourselves more time to change, then we could work things out. If we were like, you know what, it's this or nothing, then maybe we would. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I definitely think that people, and we're both divorcees, so
Right,
do not feel judged.
We're not judging you.
We're not judging you when what we're about to say, but I do think there's an element of people quitting way too early in marriage relationships.
Yeah.
And not just in the stay together for the kids sense, but like just in general. I think that there's a lot of, and you know, it's something that's like, it's a very hard thing to balance, because I've also seen particularly religious people take advantage of that to keep mostly women in horrible situations.
For sure, yeah.
That in the extreme cost them their lives, and in the other side of it also cost them their lives in the sense of they spent all of their formative years and all their peak years hoping that this abusive person who beats the hell out of them is going to change, and doesn't. So I'm not talking about that, but I do think it's some sort of attempt to reach some sort of spiritual plateau or platform somewhere. Like he knows the way. So like there's some guy that's bringing him to the mountaintop, and I'm on the way. I know the way now. Go with the man to the mountaintop, and on the phone now, all I'm thinking about is you and all the rain. Just know it'll never stop. Which the rain, I'm assuming, is, you know, metaphorical of hard times in life.
Yeah.
So like hard times are never going to stop. It's kind of like what Ghost was saying yesterday. Hard times are never going to stop. They're always going to be there. But I'm trying to get to this place, and I want you to come with me.
Yeah.
And and you know, to your point, we're in a modern world where, you know, these things are difficult to do. And it's really interesting because now there's like this real spirituality has become mainstreamed.
It does seem that way.
In the world right now, and I think that's really fascinating to me. I was just watching Albany. I met her about 6 years ago. We first started the channel, and she was a Satanist atheist, and
she was pro-life at the time.
Yeah, she's still pro. She's radically pro. But like, I just saw her. She's in like a little mini hijab, you know, because the Catholic women, like back in the day, they used to wear these like hijabs. They're beautiful, like they're embroidered or whatever. And she's about to get confirmed in the Catholic Church or whatever.
Oh.
So like she converted to like theism Christianity last year, and now she's like found her home in the Catholic Church. And
oh wow.
It's a beautiful thing and extraordinary form and all that. But it looks to me like he's trying to get someplace with this girl and lead her, and then my favorite part of the song is "Hold Me, Call Me, Always Hurting." That was my favorite part. Just not necessarily because of the lyrics, but because of the way it sounded in the song.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought another thing was when he said...
Yeah, veils. It was a veil, not a hijab. You're right. Shout out to the homie Hunter. I can always rely on him. We talk about you a lot, Hunter, actually. And it's always... Anyway, go ahead. Continue. What were you saying?
We're glad you're a part of our village. Okay, so he says, go with the man to the mountaintop. I want the fire. I want the sweat and the pain, child. You know the way. I know the way. Now stop. So that part kind of sounded like he was saying, like, maybe he didn't want the struggle, the effort, like we talked about before. Like maybe it's the, you know, the laying down in the midst of your struggles and your pain and just sort of giving up, but then saying, okay, actually I don't want to do this, like I want something to change. And then there's that whole like nothing will change if nothing changes. So like maybe it's that like, all right, I want to go to the mountaintop now. You do have to like sort of switch gears and like want the struggle, because it's not easy to make changes. Like it's easier to lay in bed and stay in bed than it is to get up and try to make a change when you've set a pattern for yourself, like mentally, physically, spiritually, everything, you know? So when he said that, it kind of made me think like he was embracing it, and he was like, okay, so the only way to get to the mountaintop is that I have to embrace the fire, I have to embrace the pain, I have to embrace the sweat, and he's doing it now, and that's why he's saying to her, like, stop, like, I'm coming, like, I'm coming up, and, you know, like, I don't know if maybe the relationship was ending or something, but then the other part where you said, hold me, call me, always hurting,
Just looks like they're in a cycle of
yeah.
somebody's playing the caretaker
Yes.
in a relationship
Yeah.
all the time.
Right.
And, you know, that is... that's a tough role to play, man. You know, I have, you know, expanding beyond romantic relationship between me and you, but I've had relationships in my life that were completely one-sided that way. Where it was like, you know, the person was always in trouble or whatever, and I had to go rescue them, and that'll take a lot out of you because you're not God. And at the end of the song, it's "Go, please go."
Yeah.
That's what it says
Yeah.
at the end of the song. It's like,
Yeah.
I can't do this no more. Go. Maybe it's like, go up to the mountaintop, follow the man, and fix yourself, because me and you, like, it's over with. Or he might be saying, go to the mountaintop and have that experience, so you're not relying on me all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it could be both ways. It could be the woman saying that too.
He says, stop me now. It says, hold me, call me, always hurting. So I don't know if he's saying he's always hurting or she's always hurting, but yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it looks to me like one of them is always in that kind of a situation, and he's saying like, hey, I'm trying to get to, you know, I've gotten to this place of enlightenment. Maybe you could get to that place too, so there's not so much of a
Yeah.
You know, and it's tough. It's tough because the particular person I was dealing, or the particular persons, had either horrible life situations or horrible mental health issues, and so it's hard. I mean, me and you have been through that recently on the other, where it was you were the caretaker.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we've gone back and forth, so.
Yeah, I'm just saying recently, like recently, it's been a lot of pressure on you, and you know, the please go thing, I think is a very important level of maturity that people have to get to.
I think you've been like I don't like the word caretaker because it sounds terrible, but like, yeah, you sort of had more of a taking care of me role, and I don't think it was quite as balanced, and like, yeah, now it's kind of flipped a little bit the other way, but I think we both know where we're going though.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. I agree. And I do think, like, for seasons in a relationship that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's completely definitional of the relationship the entire time, I think eventually it's not gonna be good.
Yeah.
I liked it.
So did I.
I wonder, you know, he said that the music was like the most reflective of where he's
where he is currently in life.
Where
but
he
I
is
don't
currently
know
in life.
if
So
that means,
I'm wondering what he means by that.
I don't know if he just meant like sonically or also like the music itself. I thought her vocals were a nice addition as well.
Yeah.
So this song is.
What'd you give it?
This is a 9.8 for me. I really liked it, but
Whoa.
I do like I like Devin.
9.8?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this one a solid 8.5. It's a good
How
song.
dare you?
It was a good song. It was a
You
good,
know what?
it
You
was a good
usually
song.
rate his songs about there.
Ooh, Deb
In the
Townsend.
8s, yeah. I always like them a lot, and you go lower than
I
me.
didn't say I didn't like it.
I didn't say you didn't like
I just
it.
didn't think it was a 9.7. But at the same time, you've been the caretaker recently, so you probably, you know, have more, could relate to the song a little bit more.
No, I didn't relate to it in that way. I related it to the, like, go with the man to the mountaintop. I want the fire. I want the sweat. I want the pain. Like, not because of, you know, taking care of you. What is beeping?
It's the charger. It keeps going
Okay.
in and out.
Well, okay, I'll fix it on the commercial. All right. Well, you guys, that was song number 1, Casualties of Cool.
Casualties of Cool indeed.
Mountaintop. Okay, up next, you guys, is a Beatles song. But that will be on the other side of the commercial.
On the side of the commercial, and hopefully we don't get banned. I was just reviewing some of my John Lennon. I'll tell you guys on the other side. We will see you on the other side of the break. Vin out!
Sorry out.
Go! I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village. Facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener. Buy our merch, indeed, a child shall lead them.
Buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener, yes, dear listener, yes, dear
Yes,
listener.
dear listener.
Shout out to the big homie, Delaney O'Connell. Delaney O'Connell in this bitch. I am working on the situation. Okay. Are we reading this?
All right, yes, right.
Go for it.
Okay, up next.
Timestamp is 36 flat. 36 even in this room. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I am enjoying this. We had what's his face in the entire time. Your friend Devin Townsend there.
Well, we do like your music,
That
though.
goes, you are playing the previous song.
Yes, dumb butts. All right, Dwayne's pick is up next. The Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band with a little help from my friends. Let's see what he has to say. Dwayne said, I will not be able to hear this song be reacted to as my wife has told me to go to bed. Just kidding. Dwayne's comments. These are the opening title tracks for the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, widely considered a masterpiece that transcended the genre's root or origins. This conceptual album of a fictional band freed John, Paul, George, and Ringo to be more artistic instead of being the Beatles, which Paul said they were fed up playing that role.
They were fed up with being the Beatles?
Yeah. They just want to do something else. You know, it's artsy people want to break out of the, you know, you're forcing them to stay in a certain whatever. They want to get out.
I guess.
The Beatles. Okay, so instead of being the Beatles, which Paul said they were fed up playing that role, combining new music and using an artist point of view, on album covers and inner sleeves, even printing the lyrics on the back cover, the Beatles opened a new door, just as they did with popular music. They legitimized the lifestyle of the counterculture. Both tracks were written by Lennon and mostly by McCartney. The opening track sets up the premise of the album, followed by a song written specifically for Ringo to sing. These were recorded to create an illusion of a pit orchestra warming up and a live audience, feel to which a master of ceremonies, McCartney, introduces to the crowd, creating a fourth wall between the artists and their audience. released in May of
Who
1967.
wrote this? Is this?
This is the Beatles. This was
No, but I'm
Dwayne
saying,
that wrote it.
Dwayne, yeah.
I was just finishing the thing.
Yeah.
This is the Beatles. But Dwayne wrote this. Okay, we have the lyrics. They have been sent to Vincent, and now... So, wait a minute. This is 2 songs. Yes, this is 2 songs. So we have Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, and then With a Little Help from My Friends. So, are we doing these back to back?
Is that on the... I don't know. Let's go. Here we go. The Beatles lyrics
It's
are
time.
in the video. Let's check it out now.
It was 20 years ago today. Sgt. Pepper taught the band to play. They've been going in and out of style, but they're guaranteed to raise a smile. So may I introduce to you the active number all these years, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club with Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. We hope you will enjoy the show. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Sit back and let the evening go. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. It's wonderful to be here, it's certainly a thrill. You're such a lovely audience, we'd like to take you home with us, we'd love to take you home. I don't really want to start the show, but I thought you might like to know that the singer's gonna sing the song, and he wants you all to sing along. So let me introduce to you the one and only Billy Shears, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. What would you think if I sang out a tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? Lend me your ears and I'll sing you a song, and I'll try not to sing out of key. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. I get high with a little help from my friends. I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends. What do I do when my love is away? Does it worry you to be alone? How do I feel
find. I don't want to say what it was, but there's a song called. There's a show called The Wonder Years. And it was a lot bigger on the one. It was like, a little help from my friends.
Oh. Ooh, I wonder who did it first.
Was that the Beatles, or were they covering that in Sgt. Pepper's? I'm confused. Damn it, confused.
It's interesting because those two songs were like very different from each other.
Agree. I respect the original, but Joe Cocker's cover of the I Bet You Anything, that's the one I was talking about. The big one.
Yeah.
I bet, yeah.
And
His
you
cover.
said it was on what?
The Wonder Years. It's the show. Kevin Arnold, and he was coming up, and Fred Savage. Negative 5 knows. It's Fred Savage. Yeah.
Glad somebody knows what's going on.
Yeah, okay, so this is a Beatles song, Little Help from My Friends. All right, here we are.
All right. So I liked the second one. Like the first one, you know, was I like the second one better, like with a little help from my friends. First of all, I liked it, like the concept of it too. But it, and the tune was more something that I would enjoy. It's not something that I'm like.
I'm gonna let you hear the one I heard, and I guarantee you, you're gonna think it's a lot better. Like, I bet everything you're gonna be like, oh, that's not even close.
But I did like the lyrics, like the concept of what he's talking about.
In
like,
the first part of the song, or the
no,
second
the
part
second
of the
part.
song?
Actually, I guess we should start with the first part. I really don't have. It was 20 years ago today. Sgt. Pepper taught the band to play. They've been going in and out of style, but they're guaranteed to raise a smile. So may I introduce you, the actor we've known for all these years. Okay.
Are you just breezing through that? Bitch?
Yeah,
You
because
really
I'm
don't
just
care
trying to
about this
find
song,
out what's
bruh?
going on, like an overall, like
Wasn't
it's an
it?
introduction.
It was them talking about like not wanting to be the Beatles anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
because they've been doing it for 20 years.
Okay, so the first song was basically an introduction. So let me introduce you, the one and only Billy Shears and Sgt. Pepper Lonely Hearts Club Band. Yeah. Okay. So that band, the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, that's the Beatles under a different name, right?
That's them like not wanting to be the Beatles anymore.
Right, but it's
that's
still
what
the
I got
same-
from Dwayne.
But it's still the same.
yeah,
people.
it's the same band.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. Okay.
The show.
All right. So the first part was an introduction to them, which is probably why it sounded different. And then the next, okay. Do you have more to say about the first one? Because I really don't have a lot to say about that first part. The whole entire thing was like 4.5 minutes, so.
The act you've known for all these years, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. We're Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, and you will enjoy. We hope you'll enjoy the show. Lonely, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely. It's wonderful to be here. It's certainly a thrill. You're such a lovely, lovely audience. We'd like to take you home with us. We'd like to take you home. I don't really want to stop the show, but I thought you might like to know that the singer is going to sing a song, and he wants you to sing along. So let me introduce you to the one and only Billy Shears. Who the hell is Billy Shears? Was Billy Shears mentioned in that thingamajig? In
the write up?
Yeah.
Command F it. Hey.
Who is Billy Shears? Somebody help us. I've never heard of this Billy Shears character.
I don't see anything about Billy Shears. Okay, I don't know.
Alright,
Maybe
well,
that
I'm
was.
not going to spend too much time on Billy Shears.
Yeah.
Because they don't really care about us.
So then that was the introduction to them, and then they come out and they start singing. But he says, "What would you think if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? Lend me your ears and I'll sing you a song, and I'll try not to sing out of key." That's interesting to hear somebody even bring up. Like, I wonder if that's something that artists worry about. Like, what if I sing off key? Will people walk out? Like, I like sort of odd sounding music and stuff. So even if who's that guy that tonight?
Billy Corgan.
Yeah, his voice is kind of unorthodox, but I like it, So
Billy Shears is another fictional character created for the concept album. I knew it. I knew it!
Okay. But yeah, the idea of like getting by with a little help from your friends, there was like, there was a time period, like, have you ever heard of that phrase, like the kindness of strangers, or, you know, like a random smile, like there's that story of that person that, well, I mean, it was very tragic, unfortunately, but the person had left a note saying that they were gonna, you know, go end their life by jumping off of a bridge, and they said, if somebody smiles at me on the way, then I won't. But nobody apparently did smile at them on the way, which is obviously really tragic. But that idea that, so I had noticed that there was like a certain period of my life where I was super angry, and it felt like I was surrounded by anger. And if I went to the grocery store, or it didn't matter what I did. I mean, you guys saw me in some of that phase where, like, there was always like these stories.
The
COVID
shit,
was part of it, and
the movie theater.
Yeah.
Were you about to mix it up with that girl?
Yeah, because she put her stuff on me. But yeah, I think that like I hit a point where I was like, felt extremely lonely, because it just seemed like every interaction was just negative everywhere. Like, it just didn't, there was nothing. And then I started saying, okay, well, maybe I'm the reason why people are reacting to me this way. And so I tried something different, and it strangely was really difficult at first, because I was kind of used to just being a bit of a bitch. How else to put it? But yeah, like, once that like switched up, like you started noticing that, like, you know, people are friendly out there if you're friendly with them, and you know, like, yeah, you're always gonna have your weird random interactions.
Don't you feel like at some level that little period was necessary to a degree?
Oh, I
because
100% believe it's necessary.
Because you weren't allowed to be angry growing up, because that's you know?
Yeah, I mean, I
you weren't allowed to be angry.
Yeah, and you know, it was, you come from a small town, and so in a small town you want to make sure that you're maintaining a certain, like, you know, persona or attitude or whatever, because if you do something over there, it's gonna get talked about over there.
Yeah.
But like, just getting to the point where you just didn't care anymore. But I like the world better with friends, you know, like, so if I go out on my walk, I am gonna say hi to every person that passes me. I am. And I like it. I like seeing, you know, some people don't really want to respond, but most people are happy. And then I think to myself, you know what? There's been some days where I found myself to be so lonely that I just wanted somebody to say something. And I think, you know what? Maybe somebody else is having one of those super lonely days where they just want somebody to be kind to them. Or
is that
whatever.
how you ran into your friend? Is that how that happened? Is that...
No, I ran into her because our sons were constantly giving her flowers.
Oh, and saying she was beautiful.
Yep. So.
It's so beautiful. Amy Lee is back in this
Hello.
bitch. Gang. Oh, it's been a while. What did the guy say?
Long time.
It's quite some time. There's some balloons in this bitch. Okay, now we can go to a little help from my friends.
Well, that's what I was just talking about.
Well, no, what I mean is, like, really deep diving into the lyrics of the song. So, like, Would You Love Me If I Sang Out of Tune? Which is kind of like, maybe they were pretty conventional as artists. Not in the sense of, like, they were doing what everybody else was doing, but, like, as far as being in tune and being all that, like, I'm assuming that they were that kind of a band. Like, where they could hit their notes right and all the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
But they've been doing it for 20 years, and they started to feel restless. So it's kind of like, I don't know what the line is with artists between, do they really care about what the fans say? Do they still care about being accepted by the fans? It's such a weird dynamic, because, like, they're on a stage.
Yeah.
like above everybody, and yet like if everybody doesn't cheer for them, then there's almost a sense in which they're beneath the crowd. Like I've seen that happen.
That's interesting.
I've
Yeah.
seen that happen, like where, like you've never been to a show where a band got booed, but like Korn fans are terrible.
I've been to a show where somebody should have booed them.
Right. Korn fans are horrible. And like we were really horrible way back in the day. It was like, get off the stage, what are you doing? And then they'd be out there singing a song and there's 20,000 people. Korn, Korn, Korn. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it was Puddle of Mud, no disrespect, respectfully. it was Puddle of Mud. And like we booed them incessantly, man. And I was front row because I'm always front row. And like we were telling dude to his face, like, get off the stage, blah blah blah. What are you doing here? And he would, and he fought. They fought back, but like you could tell, it was like, you know, I don't want to say it hurt him, but it definitely affected them. So it's a weird dynamic between the rock star and the audience, because you're so high above them, but they can also bring you down if they don't accept the music that you're putting out.
Yeah, and especially if your music is, you know, I was reading this this book called Care for the Soul, and basically there's a lot of concepts in it. It was a good book, but he was talking about how the things that we do with our hands or whatever, like it's sort of like there's something that's inside of you and you present it out into the world. And so when somebody creates a piece of art, like that was something hidden inside of them that they were able to materialize, and then we see the material version of what was inside of them. And I would assume that an artist's music is the same thing, that they've got something that's deep inside of them and that they're putting it out there. And so to reject something internal within them might be difficult, even if you're maybe making plenty of money off the fans, maybe you still really want them to like your stuff, because at the end it's, I don't know.
Well, it's like what we saw at the end of the Ghost show, where the dad was telling the son, who's the artist, at the end, make sure you're in cruciform so everybody knows that you gave them everything that you had.
Yeah.
And that was probably the most powerful moment there were a lot of really good. That right here, right now from Ghosts, I'm not gonna say I'm a Ghost fan, but it turned me into what's his name, Papa Emeritus, whatever his name is. It turned me into a That Guy fan. Shout out to the homies hanging out on the microphone right now. But like that was a really interesting line to me, because I knew that's what's going on in Korn. Like if you catch Korn at a certain time, like Woodstock for example, like they gave everything on, and that's the thing that like converted me to Korn and metal in general, was that, you know, in hip hop it was about looking cool. It was almost about looking detached and not even being affected by anything. It's like, oh, the haters, I don't care about them. I don't care about women, I just use them. I have a bunch of money, so if you talk shit, you know, you're broke, you got a fake chain. Like, so it's a lot of it is about like almost detaching yourself from the audience and saying, I'm not like you. Whereas with Korn, it was something I'd never seen before, where it was like, I'm gonna put every inch of, I actually do care about being called a faggot, actually. I do care about people bullying me, actually. You know, and so it was like really putting it out and like having a relationship problem instead of saying, I don't care. It was like, you were killing me. Like shit like that, where I was like, yo, it changed everything. So yeah, like I do really think that these people, like, if you're a real artist, and whether or not you like the Beatles, you cannot dispute the fact that these guys are real artists. Okay, I don't know about like they've invented every genre. You know, like they invented the Mediterranean scale. That's what this guy's gonna say. Like, I don't know about that, but they're real artists, and you gotta imagine if you're a performance artist in any way, shape, or form, and you're the one coming up with your music, then that means at some level you are bearing your soul to the crowd, and you are saying, we're gonna do something a little bit different. Can you roll with us? And like you saw Metallica, like to this day, people are like, oh, the Black Album, they sold out. That's when Metallica sold out the Black Album, and it was like almost a wholesale rejection of who they were as people. And like you could tell in the VH1s and all that they were really affected by it. They were trying to act tough about it, but they talked about it for quite some time. So, you know, whereas with the Beatles, it's really interesting because they did like an inverted sellout type thing, because they had a certain like way of running everything, and then they like switched. You know what I'm saying? So like they completely changed the sound.
Yeah.
Only it became mega unconventional. So yeah, I thought like lyrically, they were calling out to their audience and saying like, "Are you still gonna be with me?"
Yeah, and he talked like it was definitely vulnerable by saying, you know, like the way that I get through is with a little help from my friends. You know, I can't do this on my own. And you would think that, you know, some people, you know, like the Beatles, like being as big and as popular as they are, that they would be like, thanks, that, you know, they would be not need a little help from their friends. But I think that we're all the same, and all of us need, we all need friends.
Yeah, it really does not.
It's a good night for you to come back, Amy.
It really doesn't matter how big and strong and powerful you are. Like you still need them. You still need friends. And it's you know. I remember the first time I read that where Jesus was choosing his 12 disciples, and it said, basically it said for him to teach them, and then it said, and to be with him. And I'm like, Jesus wanted people to be with him? Like, you're God, dude. Like, what? And no, he wanted people to be with him. And at the end, like the last night, he said, "You are those who stood by me through all my trials." And I'm like, yo, he really appreciated the fact that when people were calling his mother a whore, when they were throwing stones at him and shit like that, the disciples stuck by him and like lined up to try to protect him. You know, like he loved the fact, he appreciated it. And I'm like, damn. Like, and so like if Jesus,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying, like in his humanity needed friends, you know, how can we not? You know what I'm saying? It's very interesting.
Yeah, 100%.
And the other thing too, it says a little help from my friends, which is really interesting because like the number of friends you have creates the degree to which they need to help you. So like if you only have one friend in the world ever, then they gotta do everything for you. If you have two friends, then they can only do half, right? And so it's like, if you have 5 friends, then yeah, you only need a little help from your friends because it's variegated, and they're not carrying everybody, and they're not carrying the weight of your soul. I mean, Jesus had 12 disciples. So, like, I don't have the capacity to have 12 friends, like, really good friends, but there are concentric circles of friendship that, I mean, you've always been the most important friend I've had in my life ever, and I've been in some pretty gnarly situations with people would say, if they knew, they'd be like, oh my God, like you guys did that for each other, wow, type of thing. But as far as like friendships and consistency and like being in a situation where I wasn't around you, like where we broke our streak of being around each other 24/7, like it opened my eyes a lot to a lot of shit. Like, fuck, man. Like, and you know, obviously some of it's unhealthy, and I gotta, you know, again, like have more friends. But yeah, I thought that was a very interesting way of presenting yourself to your bands and humanizing yourself to your fans in a way that I don't think I ever would if I was them. I would never do that if I was them. It would never happen.
I don't know if I would actually. I was gonna agree with you and say I wouldn't either, but I actually don't know if I wouldn't.
Wrestling this bitch. What's up, baby?
Hey.
See a bunch of old schoolers in this bitch.
Yeah.
Controllers in here.
Yeah.
What's up, man? Good friends and socializing with them is part of what makes life worth living. Yeah, man, and you really see it at rock shows too, where that's one of the unique things about going to rock shows. Like, if somebody has your band shirt, you guys are friends immediately and forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a really, really cool feeling, and you really that's why like I would look so forward to rock shows when I was in high school, and then like the ride home after the show was like the most depressing thing on the face of the earth. Like, I wish I would have died in the mosh pit type shit. But yeah, interesting song. All right, Beatles. I'm gonna give this one a high score because of the lyrics and because of like the historical context. The Beatles wrote 188 original songs. 28 songs went to number 1. 64 songs hit the top 40. All are considered classics. Yeah, I mean, you cannot deny that these people are artists. We're spending way too much time on this review, but anyway, I'm just very fascinated by how powerful this band was, and yet they cannot escape human nature. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the collective weakness and brilliance of humanity is something that's very fascinating to me right now in my life. The other guy's cover, I'm not going to talk about. Rate the song.
I'm going to give this one an 8.6.
I'm going to give this one a 9.2, which is pretty high for the Beatles.
That's very high for...
Yeah. But I thoroughly enjoyed what was going on there. I really, really did. As far as like... This is one of those songs where if I didn't get the context, like... the context that was given to me by what's his name?
Dwayne.
Mm-hmm. As if I forgot Dwayne's name. Yeah. Getting that context made the song a little bit like deeper to me.
Well, if there's gonna be 2 ratings, Archero, because it was, technically 2 songs. The first one's like a 4.5 for me.
I'm not counting the first song against him.
Right.
I'm just not gonna do it. Not gonna do it.
4.5 for the first one.
Those are
8.6 for the
11s?
second.
No. That first song, Dwayne, was not an 11. What a lie.
Well,
What a lie. This was revolutionary when it came out. See what I'm saying? They took a giant swing. Like, they did not play it safe. And so, like, I'm sure they're in the studio or they're going to the record execs and the execs are looking at them like, this is not the formula that made us millions of dollars. What are you guys doing? And I'm assuming in those situations, you look at those execs and say, our fans are gonna come through. And that anxiety creates a song like that, I think. The Little Help from My Friend. So that's insane. That's absolutely insane. I'm gonna give this one a 9.3. What was the song? A Little Help from My Friends from the Beatles.
All right, you guys.
Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club or something like that. Maybe they called it Lonely Hearts Club because they also thought that they were going to be lonely after because the fans were going to ditch them. See what I'm saying?
Yep.
I don't know.
All right. We'll be right back.
I witnessed it. It changed things. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, these guys changed a lot of shit with it. They're like the Steph Curry of music. Like, I don't necessarily think they're the greatest ever, but it seems to me, and we don't know because we weren't around, but it seems to me like these guys had such an influence on music. They changed the game. Like Steph Curry, like LeBron is better than Steph. Jordan is better than Steph, but they did not change the entire game of basketball. And honestly, that Caitlyn, the white girl, Caitlyn, whatever her name is in the WNBA, like she's got a Steph Curry type game, and it's translating well, and that's why like people want to hate on her, whatever. She's white.
Is her last name Jennings?
No, Caitlyn Clark. It's Caitlyn Clark.
Oh, okay.
And like her game is modeled after Steph Curry. Like she's taking these big threes and things like that. It's things that it's a women's type of game. It's translatable to women as well, but the entire NBA is trying to replicate the way that this guy plays. So you don't have to be the greatest to have the greatest impact. Like that's a weird kind of dichotomy, but it seems to me like these guys are kind of like that. Like they had such an impact on their immediate surroundings, and then it overflowed to different genres and things like that. I don't know. You got to give them their respect. So it's a 9.3 for the Beatles for me.
All right, you guys. We'll be back after this commercial.
Yes, after this commercial break, we shall return. Song number 3 on the way. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone. I'm coming back though. Huh? I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch, indeed, a child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener, yes, dear listener, yes, dear listener.
All right, our Chero's pick
Vin
is
and
up
Sori
next.
have returned.
Speaking of our Chero, we have our March Madness thing that's going, and
Yeah.
if you donated to the village fund that goes to helping different villagers in need, now our brackets have been chosen, and we're seeing who's winning.
Sori's currently at 210 points, I see.
Wait, no, what do you mean 210? I have points, what is it, 570 points. How dare you say 210?
You got 570 points?
Yeah, but it looks like Revo's winning.
Revo always
I am
wins
in
those things.
7th place. Unfortunately. Anyway, yeah, so that's that. We'll be keeping an eye on that, and maybe I'll win. And if I win, then I'll pick myself a song for us to react to. Anyway.
Revo has a very strong chance of winning. No shit. Did he win last year? Pretty sure. Pretty sure.
I don't know. He's in number 1. I mean, whatever that means to you.
He has 1,000 freaking points, bro. Like, who's the next person to him?
Well,
Is Gonzaga still in that bitch? I don't know.
King of the Grey Islands. Oh, that's our Chero.
Why does our Chero have gray eyelids, though? What does that mean?
I don't know. This says our Chero won.
Fally won last year. All right. I think there was some controversy.
Either way, it's for a good cause. It's for our villagers. All right. So up next
Yeah,
is
I grokked us, and they were like, Vin and Sori have like a bunch of charitable blah blah blah. I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? I'm like, it must be our Chero.
You're making us look good, buddy.
Yeah, we haven't done it. What charitable things have we done? Like, what are they talking about?
Me. Okay.
SGS says I'm in dead last. It's actually quite impressive how little points I have.
Yes, he's dead last. He's got 330 points.
The girls out here beating you, bro.
Oh man, that's so
Alright, it's
funny.
2025. It's all good. It's okay if you losing to girls, SGS. We ain't mad at you. We just gonna mock you for ever. Alright, here we go. Song number 3.
Okay, look.
Timestamp 1 hour 13.
Craft with CK?
CKRAFT.
Craft.
All you can kill.
Alright, all you can kill. What did you say was the timestamp?
1:13:30.
1:13:30. Okay.
Yeah, Last of Us. We've watched the entirety of season 1. If people want to watch the season 2 together, there's ways of accomplishing that. Speaking of which, shout out to our patrons. And if you're a patron, you can see I've posted 200% more content on Patreon than I've done for my entire career on Patreon, because I'm dead ass serious about interfacing and making Patreon something. These people have been with us for years, and I gotta tell you, like, it really hit me in the chest. We've been out, whatever, and you guys stayed with it, and you would not be bad people if you left, obviously, and you guys stayed with it, and that impressed the hell out of me. And so, like, I'm determined to make Patreon something worth people's while. So, the next event coming up on Patreon is going to be
Adolescence?
There's a show called Adolescence. It's a 4-parter, and it's on Netflix, but we already have it. And episode 1, we're going to all watch together, and it's going to be for everybody. And then episode 2 through 4 is only going to be available for patrons. It doesn't matter if you're in the $1 tier or above. Everybody else on the outside, if they're not patrons, they're going to have to pay for tickets to watch the shows. And then I will not release those things on Rumble until next month or something. So yeah, there you go. So we're really trying to do. So that's going to be an entire show. I guess it's highly acclaimed, and the kid who is the main actor has never acted before. And the director is doing everything in one take. I don't even know how that's possible. How did somebody not screw up on their lines? I don't know. But yes, there you go. All right. Having said that.
Okay, so we have CKRAFT, all you can eat. Let's see. This is for Archero.
It's all you can kill. Not all you can eat. What's wrong with you? That's some Jeffrey Dahmer shit.
I was literally thinking.
Some Jeffrey Dahmer shit, bro.
I was thinking.
What the hell?
I literally was thinking about everything that I had cooked for supper, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, like, I gotta make sure that Vin eats after we're done working. And so in my mind, I was constructing your burgers and everything.
I heard Sayla took one of the
spicy ones. No,
one of the spicy ones.
they ended up all being spicy because I put cayenne pepper on all of them, but lightly. But there are definitely some that are additionally spiced for you.
Lightly?
Okay.
Lightly, you say?
Yes, but lightly for white people is a lot.
I was gonna say, like, is that Islamic lightly? You know, beat them lightly. You know where it says beat your wife lightly?
No, Jet, I literally ate a burger so fast before this stream. I'm not going to be hungry for like another 12 hours.
Do you want that black tea, though? You got to get somebody on your black tea.
I would like some black tea. Maybe you can message Sayla while I'm doing this.
Yeah,
okay, so let's start. This is Archero's pick. The name of the band is CKRAFT. It's all you can kill. He says, I was trying to decide.
We also think about Kraft macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
Macaroni and cheese.
I did actually think of that. I was trying to decide if I should send you a metal song like usual or share some more jazz like I have recently. The answer that I settled on was yes! The French band CKRAFT is a new discovery for me. I heard them for the first time last week. Their music is inspired by Gregorian melodies.
Ooh!
All their music is instrumental, but in lieu of lyrics, I have added the band's description of the inspiration for the song. He says, all you can kill draws inspiration from the vast quantities in which humanity spreads death. The title is a reference to the concept of all you can eat buffet. Ha! I was kind of right.
As if Archero didn't stand up for your girl.
Yeah! All you can eat buffet. It is, at its core, it's the, how do you say this?
Dies Irae.
A renowned Gregorian chant with a rich presence.
Dies Irae.
Presence in various musical genres and contemporary media, spanning from movies to video games. With its dark undertones, it conjures images of divine wrath and the final judgment of all beings on earth, the ominous hymn of mortality. Okay.
Oh my God.
Let's do this.
The ominous hymn of mortality. What have you done?
Let's go. What do you mean? What have I done?
Did we do the timestamp already?
No.
All
I'll
right.
take it.
The timestamp is 1:19.
Oh no, we
flat.
did. Yeah.
Yeah, 1:13:30. We did do the timestamp. All right, here we
Yeah.
go. Here we go.
Take that.
Take that, mother lover. All right, Craft, all you can kill, let's do it. 8 seconds left. There might be a twist at the end. No.
Ah! Did I startle you?
A tad. We're breaking up. Okay.
A little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. That was really interesting. All you can kill based on all you can eat.
Yeah, buffet.
American consumerism. What did you think? Well, first of all, I enjoyed the metal parts of this. There was some Dream Theater-y parts, especially the lead guitar at the beginning, which, now that I think about it, was probably more of a keyboard than a guitar. So I don't really know. But I think, was that a keyboard, Archero? Don't keep us in suspense.
I thought it was an interesting, like, mesh of sounds together. Some of I know it wasn't prog, but it had that sort of like...
It definitely was not prog.
Changing a lot.
Nonsense.
And I liked some of the metal parts, which I reacted to, like, there was some of the parts I really liked, and then there was other parts where I was like, what are we doing here? So it was a very...
Well, it was jazzy. It was jazzy. It was supposed to be jazzy. No?
Well, some of it was like metal, like when they were like doing those parts. I really liked those parts. Yeah, but it's this. To be honest with you, there are some songs that when they finish, I feel like I would do well to be able to just sit there and think about it for a minute, because there was a lot going on in that song.
I thought in the middle, it got very disturbing. I don't know what chord that was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it was very disturbing, and it really, I'm always conflicted about the whole, how much we consume meat in particular. Because the way you cook, like, I will never give up meat. Ever. I would never do it. But
I like vegetables, though.
yeah, like, you like vegetables. I think we could have an entire week at our house where we went vegetarian.
Well, I don't necessarily... Oh, well, no.
Just like a
used to do
week,
that.
not like forever. But go ahead.
I still like my meat. I think that I would just go like more veggie heavy and some meat. But what about the meat thing? Because of this concept?
Yeah, because he was talking about, like, all you can eat, it's all you can kill, but it's all you can eat.
Well, it's
like,
from the vast quantities in which humanity can spread death.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like, yeah, sometimes, like even the concept of like a buffet, where it's like there's
disgusting.
so much food that's just getting put out, and then people are just consuming more than, like, one time I shouldn't even say this story. One time I was at a buffet. Honestly, this is what, like, did me in for buffets. I
Really?
literally saw somebody consume so much that they got sick and just...
At the buffet?
Not far away from the tables of the buffet. Yeah.
Disgusting.
They were, like, going by. It was like, okay, you know what?
Yeah. But all, like, our ability to kill is also very, very interesting.
It's not just our ability to kill, but the insensitive ways that we will do it. Or like, if you've ever seen those videos, like the little chicks that they can't even hold themselves up with their legs because they've been so under, I guess, nutrition's low or something. I don't know.
Seems broader than just animals. It seems like our ability to kill in general.
Oh.
Like clear-cutting forests, for example.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, are you a tree hugger? I'm like, well, I mean, I don't know if I don't think I'm a tree hugger, but I'm like, I don't know, bro. It's like we were saying,
I always felt for the clear cutting. I never liked it.
Where we live right now, there's so many beautiful views. Like, it's insane. Like, the views are so freaking incredible. And we were talking about the people across from us. They built this storage facility or whatever, and it's like this gray building, like where before it was just trees and skyline. And it's like, I don't know, like, I'm not a tree hugger or anything like that, and progress, whatever, but I don't know, man. Like, if I was on that side, I would be pissed off. I'd be really mad.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, it's not the frustration, it's the sad that I feel when I see something that's been clear cut, especially if you've been around it. Like, you know, my friend said she's been here for a while, and so she would see all those trees, and when the storms would roll in, she'd see all of that, and now it's gone. It's just like that building now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that, like, seeing like the life of the trees, and then they're just like clear cut.
Yeah, and it's also the anti-war thing. Like, if you're anti-war, like, it's like you get made fun of for being anti-war. It's like, what are we talking about here? I do think that there's some glimmer of hope. Like, most of the time when we talk about social media, it's mostly like, oh, it's negative. I do think Americans being able to see the human cost to our foreign policy in real time, I do think is going to create a better future for everybody. And so, like, there are places where you can see the human cost of American foreign policy in graphic detail, and it's the entire concept of the wrath of God, for example, is such a fascinating idea in Christianity in particular. So, I think it's Romans 11. Paul's trying to convince his audience who's undergoing neuronic persecution to not take vengeance. And you can also extend that to slaves. People are like, oh, Paul is saying slaves, be obedient to your masters. It's like, yeah, because the alternative was be disobedient to your master and then end up in some sort of slave revolt, like with Spartacus. And how does that mesh with Jesus' nonviolence ethic? It's impossible. But Paul says something very interesting. He says, bless and do not curse. And then right after he says, leave room for the wrath of God. And that's how I parent. If somebody did something and then you got your lick back, I can't punish that person because there's no room for wrath left because you already handled it. And so, like, the concept of the wrath of God has a lot of utility in the real world. Because God knows that just Christ's example of forgiveness and things like that is not enough for people with a sinful nature. We want some vengeance. And so God's like, okay, well, you've got the example of Christ, and in a best world scenario, you would not take vengeance because you're like Jesus and you love everybody else. But if you're not at that place, I love how practical the Bible is. If you're not at the place where you can love your enemies and all the rest of it, don't shoot them. Leave room for the wrath of God. Like, God's going to handle them. God's going to fuck them up. So you don't have to. I think that's so practical. And a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people, like, in the Western world, like, judge that passage, or wrath of God. It's like, yeah, man, go over into the world right now and see the stuff that's happening and tell me that the wrath of God is not appropriate.
I think the other thing about that verse, because there's another one that says, vengeance is mine, says the Lord, I will repay. And that's something within the last probably 6 months that I was thinking a lot about.
Vengeance is mine, I'll repay.
Well, the concept of leaving vengeance to God instead of taking it for yourself and doing it that yourself. And I realized that the only way that we can really truly stay at peace is if you don't hold on to bitterness and anger and vengeance. And when you hold on to those things, like, it changes you internally. And so you're unable to maintain, if you have to be the one doing the vengeance, there's a certain level of, like, I don't know, I always think about it as like your chi, like it has to be like a certain level of height for you to be able to take vengeance or to react out at other people or whatever. So I actually was grateful for that side of Christianity because I was able to, when something was happening, to just bring it to God and be like, okay, you're gonna have to, that's what you do with the situation, and just like leaving that with God and like focusing on because I wanted to go forward as a person. I didn't want to be sitting back in bitterness and anger and all of that stuff. So those verses actually helped me to say, okay, that is the only way that we can maintain our peace, is to allow that side of it, the vengeance side of it, just to be given to God and to trust that God is going to do it. And then there's the flip side of it where you're like, yeah, you know, I want God to take vengeance on X, Y, and Z situations. Simultaneously, I wanted to have grace and mercy for me with the X, Y, and Z things that I've done. So that was another thing that helped me too, was because just realizing that vengeance in a lot of ways is completely hypocritical. Because, you know, like today I was in the store and like I had told Vinny I was gonna run and just like I was just gonna grab something really quick, but then the store was closing and the line was ginormous, and then like this one lady was like, I could see she wanted to like go ahead of me in line, and I had more things than she did, and I was like, oh, is your friend up there? And she was like, yeah. I was like, you can go ahead of me. I was just saying she could go ahead of me. I didn't say she could go ahead of anybody else. And then the lady in front of me was like, well, you know, this lady already cut in front of me, and so, you know, I'm trying to get out of here. And like it like the whole energy like at that side of the room just like dipped. And then she was saying like, well, I gotta go because I have a mom that's waiting on me and we're both hungry. And I was thinking, well, you know, everybody has something that they could say. I could say, I have 6 kids waiting for me at home. Like, I need to get out of here too. Like, we all have something going on.
Right.
And so that lady just happened to prioritize herself over everybody else because the mom waiting in the car was hungry and she was hungry. But everybody had something that they wanted to do in some place they wanted to be. So I was like, and like everybody in the line I could see was like really judging this lady for that. But I thought to myself, like in my heart, I was like, lady, I have been you on a multitude of occasions where I will cut in front of people and pretend I don't see them or whatever because I have my agenda. So yeah, I think that, you know, that's when you can just look at the world that way and just be like, yeah, I was like that too. Then it kind of like changes things, because maybe you didn't do that exact situation, but there's other ways that we've been selfish or been whatever, you know. So
or if we would have had the opportunity, if we did not fear law enforcement or whatever, we would have done XYZ thing. Like, so like, are you really that better because you were just smarter to not do something that gets you? You know what I'm saying?
Or you
like,
just, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people would have been like, bro, you would have been.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I you know, AJ said, Applejack said, like, you know, leaving room for the wrath of God still leaves me with a sense of emptiness, and I think that's by design, because that's not God's best. God's best is Christ. And when Christ was carrying his cross, he wasn't saying, I'm going to leave room for the wrath of God. He was saying, Father, forgive them. So like, if we could be tortured with the love of God, because there is a certain kind of pain that comes with loving your enemies. But if we could enter into that kind of perfect suffering, I think that's the best way to deal with sin in a sinful world, is to be able to love in spite of that. And I don't think that if we could love genuinely from the heart our enemies, that we would have any emptiness, because our hearts would be full. Our hearts would be full of pity for them. Our hearts would be full of love for God, that he's so gracious to us and overlooking our faults and transgressions.
Yeah.
So it's a deep idea, this song, you know, all you can kill or whatever, especially as an American, where I get what you're saying. I think it was Hunter was saying, like, man, you're wrong. People don't care. They see this stuff, they don't care. And I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of people like that. And remember, Hunter and everybody else, what people say on the internet is not the same thing as what they're saying on their bed at 12:30 in the morning when they're seeing those scenes, right? So like, there's that angle too, where people are trying to pretend now, it's weird that they don't care about the horrors of what's happening all over the world because empathy is supposedly a sin or whatever. But I don't think that if there's any of your humanity or any of the image of God left in your soul, that you can. I was looking at it at a dad yesterday, and he says, you know, what is it, Ahmed? And what is it is a term in the Middle East where it's basically like, it's a comforting phrase that moms say to babies. What is it? What's wrong with you? What's bothering you? What's troubling you? But the kid was dead. And the guy's friends were like, basically, he kept saying that, holding his kid, and the guy's friends was like, you have to put him away now. Because in Islam, you have to do the janazah the day that the person dies. And so it's like, I don't think anybody can see that, especially people that have children. I don't think anybody can see that. Just go, man, fuck that guy. I think what's more likely is that we will look away from it and pretend we didn't see it. But I don't think that anybody can actually look at that and say, man, you know what I'm saying? And that's why, like, you've got elements in our country right now that are really, I mean, there are literally people pushing the idea that empathy is a sin or a weakness. And it's very fascinating. It's like, oh, empathy can be, you know, it can be manipulated. It's like, what human emotion cannot be manipulated? Anger can't be manipulated.
Exactly.
Happiness can't be manipulated. Like, every emotion we have can be manipulated. Why the hell would we choose empathy to be the one that's like, you're not going to manipulate me. I'm going to completely carve my heart out of my chest, kamikaze style. And, you know, so actually have, if people were not being empathetic, then there would be no reason for the anti-empathy crowd to be around. Like, there's no anti, you know, kicking the nuts crowd, because there isn't a rising movement of people in America that are desiring a kick in the nuts crowd. The only time you can create an anti-empathy movement is if too many people are feeling empathy. So that gives me hope, and it's one, I think, finally good consequence of social media.
Yeah. Yeah.
As far as the song, I didn't like it. It's a 4. But the concept, I thought, was brilliant. I thought the metal parts were fun, but they were also like, it's like,
I liked those
pretty
parts.
pretty basic.
I liked those parts. I thought it was
And
interesting.
it was too Dream Theater-y for me, so it's gonna get a 4. Go ahead.
Not my style, but I thought that it was interesting, and some of the transitions I liked a lot. Well, the medley ones. But yeah, it's 4. I wouldn't give it a 5. 6.7. 6.7 for me.
Cecilia says, I know that when I was in active addiction, empathy was seen as a weakness, but now that I'm sober, I lost it. By the way, congrats on getting sober.
Yeah.
Gang. I really appreciate that. Sobriety is a mother flower. Now that I'm sober, I still struggle with that because empathy gets used against me. Yep. It definitely does, for sure. But remember, every emotion you have or don't have can be used against you. There's people that go to get trained on how to use every single human emotion against people in mass, and it works. So, all right, we will be seeing you beautiful people on the other side of the break. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft. Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch, indeed. A child shall lead them. My partner has disappeared in the rapture. So we've all been left behind. So I guess we're going to be in a situation where we're going to listen to metal until the apocalypse comes and takes us all, dear listener. We will be listening to, when Soraya gets back, we will be listening to Death Walk the Earth by a band named Insomnium. Insomnium. So we will be listening to Insomnium. I guess you guys can ask me anything for like 2 minutes. Sori has created like the most ultimate, healthiest drink of all time. It's like a bunch of fruits, and then we just take the rinds and like grind the rinds, and then like make a concoction out of it, and like don't put any sugar in it. And it's like I've been drinking like a gallon of that a day almost, and everybody in the house is sick right now except for me. So I swear by it. I think it works.
Mixing your drink, it'll be ready.
Yeah, I was gonna do ask me anything. Is there any hot dogs left?
Yeah, you want? How many do you want? 2?
2. Those. Anybody want to see my mugshot from 2 years ago? Yes, I would love to see your mugshot. Like, is it like a real mugshot? Ask me anything. Okay, question number 1. How are you liking Florida? I love Florida. Most importantly, Soraya loves Florida. That was really the big thing for me, was getting her here, because I knew she'd like it, but she loves it here, so I'm pretty happy about that. Ansar Allah will be my new name. Good. Helper of Allah. Very good. Helper of God. Good. It's better than Ansar al-Sharia. You're back. How's it getting on? It's getting on good. It's getting on good. Bumpy. A couple people have asked me on Patreon. I'm like, well, we're not completely out of the woods yet, but we're about 78% out of the woods, so that's good. But yeah, things are looking up. Things are looking up, I would say. Mugshot, Vin for Prez. Yeah. Sorry to repeat my question, but have you listened to the new Ghost song? Do not apologize for asking that question. I have not listened to the new Ghost song. We just yesterday on Rumble did the it's called Right Here Right Now, RITE, and it's like a live show, but it's also it's part of their lore, and it was really, really good. We really enjoyed it. I'm hoping that some people request the new Ghost, so that we could do it. Usually if people don't request it, I won't listen to it, so that we can give an authentic, real reaction. What do you think of the ACP? I hear the Truckers Union is thinking about joining them. Do you have any thoughts on them? ACP is the American Communist Party. I don't have enough information on the ACP. It's very fascinating to me that the Truckers Union would join them. I think you were the one that was telling me on our walk. We were on our walk, and you were talking about something about property taxes and things like that in China relative to communism that's beneficial to the people. My concept of economic and social systems is that all of them probably sound good on paper, but when interfaced with human sinfulness, has some sort of horrible, corrupting side that does not get anticipated by the architects of said system, because they're so focused on the horrors of the system that they're trying to get away from. And I believe they've misdiagnosed what the real problem is. In my mind, the real problem is human sinfulness. In their mind, it's rich people. Glad God is blessing you guys. True. What if I tell you you're an angel? That's dehumanizing too. It actually is. What do you think of it? I loved it in the theater. I thought it was excellent. And I also gained a giant load of respect for the head guy, Papa Emeritus, whatever his name is. No disrespect, but I gained a lot of respect and affection for him. He was really trying to say something to the crowd. He was really trying to give them joy and simultaneously give them a catharsis, a way to ventilate their pain and frustration. Very, very good dude. Can you see my mugshot now? SubhanAllah. There's Jet's mugshot, everyone. What the hell did you do, sis? Don't tell us. Forget it. Here's my question. We want to do an MA about my on-the-ground reporting of the neo-Nazi attack at Lincoln Heights, Ohio. It's the most fresh reporting in my head. Yeah, let's do it. I stayed away from MA because I'm like being extremely intentional about my mental health, but at the same time, like, we got to balance it out with the fact that shit is crazy out here. What do I think about Trump's economic tariffs plan? Well, I think that Trump's economic tariffs plan, again, is one of those things that sounds good. Enki of Nibiru, greetings. Greetings indeed. I think that that's something that sounds good on paper strategically, but again, in the implementation, I think is gonna hurt both countries, and I'm not particularly certain what the end game's gonna be, because you know. All right, guys, we're back. Next song on the way. Sori loves this. Like, what do you call it? Tell the people what you're drinking.
It's aloe vera. Literally, pieces of aloe vera are floating in this drink. It's mango flavored. It's delicious. Back in 1997, they had a drink called Orbits. It had these little floating balls of like gelatin, and it was fruity, and I loved it. It was like, 2000 was on its way. And like, these little balls are floating in the drinks. Unfortunately, it was
What the hell
like,
does that have to do with the year 2000?
well, it was a drink that had like these floating balls in it. It just
So you
looked
felt
like
like it was modern.
futuristic.
Futuristic.
Yeah, it looked like something you'd see on like
This
Jetsons,
is what a
maybe.
person in Lewiston, Maine thinks is futuristic.
Well,
People were asking me. Were asking me how we like Florida. SubhanAllah.
I love it. Oh my gosh.
Hey, look at Jet. Look at Jet. This is Jet's mugshot. Tell me that's not a gangster.
Definitely a gangster.
She's just
Now
like,
I understand.
Yeah, she's just like, take
What?
the picture, nigga. Just take the picture, nigga. Let's go.
It's a cute picture, actually, though. I didn't know you had red hair. You changed your hair color? Okay. Ben B is up next, so you better give me the timestamp so he doesn't,
Yep. This is Ben Bear's pick.
Okay, give me that timestamp.
Ben Bear is having a
Insomnium.
birthday pretty soon, so
Yes, he is.
inshallah.
Yes.
All right, here we go. Insomnium. Oh, also,
153. 154. Go ahead.
there's somebody else that's having a birthday, and we're gonna do something for them. Middle Earth, keep texting me about that, bro. All right, here we go.
All right, Insomnium, Death Walked the Earth. Oh my gosh.
That's the name of the song.
Yep.
Wow.
He says we're going way back to Insomnium's second record for my pick tonight, from 2004, since the day it all came down. This is Death Walked the Earth video description timestamp. Ben gave us the lyrics. This must have been Middle. Middle must have done this.
Yeah. Ben never did
I
this.
don't believe him. Ben says he's not
Ben
going to
never-
do our job for us.
He never did this. Yes, Fit for an Autopsy is coming later, I believe, right
Okay.
after your thingy is out. All right, guys, here we go.
Let's go.
Insomnium. Well, you're gonna have to get your headset on, Missy.
I'm ready.
And I'm gonna have to turn off the background music. And here we go. Insomnium. Death Walk the Earth. That's a badass tagline. I ain't gonna lie. genre that's very hard to miss on, the melodic death stuff, the European melodic death. Them boys be getting crazy. Shout out to the Europeans on that joint. People are saying Amorphous. Would you say Amorphous is your favorite melodic death metal band? That's the one that Kai always sends you the stuff for and all that. In Flames,
sure.
In Flames, I think, is probably my favorite melodic death metal group.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
In Flames, we trust, bitches.
This one was good though. You know what? The other thing with when it's melodic, they always have like this. I mean,
Go ahead.
I'm not trying to throw shade on the Beatles, but like the Beatles lyrics, they're kind of like they're not like deeply poetic or draw away your soul, but like the way brought back from the silence as darkness whitened into the day. Well, where was the?
I mean, yesterday is yesterday. All my troubles seem so far away.
Yeah, that sounds like it's got like more of a sweetness to it. What song is that?
Really? Yesterday by the Beatles.
Yeah,
That's a very soulish song.
No, I'm not saying no. I didn't say soulish. I just mean like sort of like these types of songs. They have sort of like a dark poetry to them, where I don't think the Beatles were going for like a darkness to them. And lyrically, they're almost like seem like back in the 80s and 90s, like the songs that we would hear. Well, not, I'm talking about my limited. It was more like, I don't know, like the lyrics, I can't really describe it, I guess. I don't want to sound offensive.
No, go for it. What's his face? Dwayne isn't here, so.
Oh, he went to bed?
Offend away!
Okay. Like the Beatles lyrics, just, it's like basic, you know what I mean? Like you got like, imagine this, imagine that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know, I liked the song. No, stop. I liked the song for what it was. And the simplicity of imagine if it was whatever. But like the way that there's like this sort of like dark poetry, it's like the edges of, if you've ever looked at a snowflake like close up and you see like the edges of like the crystallization and like how perfect they're made, to me it's like that, like because you know that the snow can kill, as in it's you could freeze to death. But at the same time, like there's so much beauty in it, and I feel like that this melodic death metal kind of captures that.
I think that's a legit analogy.
So that's what I was trying to not say because I didn't want to, offend all of our Beatles. 3.5. Go ahead.
Brought back from the silence as darkness whitened into a day. This is not these people's English is not their first language either. So, I'm always blown away by that.
Yeah.
These European bands where like English isn't their first language, but like they're more poetic and brilliant with the language than 90% of us. It's pretty horrible. But shout out to them. Tried to weave the pieces together, forced the past away. So it looks like he had a long night, probably a drug-induced whatever, as darkness whitened into a day. Which, that was a very big problem for me, like months ago, weeks ago, maybe. Like being in the dark and then like seeing the day, it was like, now I recognize anxiety, like seeing the day change, or like the day invading the night was like, it induced a lot of anxiety. I'm like, oh God, here we go, another day. Thankfully, I haven't been in that situation recently, so that's good. Mind weary of sorrow, body tired from the way, welcome yet another morning of longing and dismay. There it is. That feeling of like, stay right there, don't move, I say. Okay, go ahead. Go.
Go ahead. You were talking.
I just had to take a screenshot. That was so like cool looking. Yeah, like that's. I think the first two verses are about that. It's about being at night, enjoying the night because it's quiet. Nobody can fuck with you. You're there by yourself. It's peaceful. you're lost in your thoughts, or you do whatever it is, and there's nobody around to bother you, and then the light comes up, and you know you gotta take this phone call, you gotta go with this person, and it's really exhausting mentally for a person, depending on where your headspace is. And you can see he's saying his mind is weary of sorrow and his body is tired from the way. I'm assuming the way is the journey of life, or the specific place where he is at the moment. But I could relate a lot to the lyrics of this song for sure. What have I for you to offer besides this long haul? Wade across the vast snowfields, journey through the endless moors, through endless moors, through endless moors. It just feels like that. Like having to function as an adult. You know, I feel bad for my kids to a degree because like they're now starting to feel like the exigencies of just adult life and like having to adult.
Yeah.
And like, you know, what have I to offer except this long haul and wading across snowfields and moors? It's just like this endless journey that you have to do. And it's living. Death walked the earth today
This
without a
was the
sound,
part that I
motionless,
was-
forced
yeah.
its way into my arms, caressed me with the dark. And you can tell that English isn't their first language because they didn't pronounce caressed properly. They pronounced it like caress or something like that. Go ahead.
Oh. I just thought that this section was so poetic, and it reminds me of a couple of things. But it says death walk, like when he says it, death walked the earth today. It doesn't even sound like it was like this aggressive stalking of death, but it was just it walked the earth today without a sound, motionless, forced it. It's saying without a sound and motionless, but at the same time it forced its way into his arms and like caressed me with the dark.
So what did you
Well,
take from that?
I mean, I'm I'll say some of the things. One of the things, I've been, talking with a friend of mine who, she's a widow now, and just what that's like, and the experience of it, and how painful it is, and like the way that it's like that. Like you don't plan on not having the person that you plan on having you growing old with, and when something happens and you don't have them there anymore, like that complete, like sort of empty, or this like reality that you didn't expect to have. And it's just, I don't know, just like when she describes it, or because I see her like just trying to stay so positive, and not let that darkness like really drag her under, because she has a lot of kids, and she's trying to keep her trust in God, but at the same time it's like just these waves that just like come over, and like that description forced its way into my arms and caressed me with the dark, like, and I've seen, you with the different losses that you've gone through, and how that is. It's just, I just thought that it was just perfectly said. And then he says, dragged again up to the surface from the bowels of the earth to face yet another morning, breath grasping black stream of death. And when you're watching somebody grieve, especially when you're close to them, like it looks like they're drowning on air, as crazy as that sounds. And it's hard to watch somebody suffer. And I just thought that this person obviously has been through something, because it was just well spoken. And like you said, this is not even their their first language. Anytime I meet somebody that is like, I'm sorry I don't speak good English, I'm like, I feel like saying, don't embarrass me by saying that. I literally can only speak English. You speak 2 languages. So I said that to somebody else, and she was like, actually I speak 4 languages.
Oh, that homegirl?
Remember from the one that we were speaking Russian to?
Oh, yeah, Das Vidanya.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember, like, yeah, I mean, I'm being very intentional about sleep and attacking my sleep schedule. Like, don't feel bad, you guys are fucking it up right now, but it's okay. Yeah, like that line about whitening into the day and things like that. And I think a lot of it also is like, it's weird. When I'm by myself and there are no human beings, I can surround myself with stimuli. I can play Fortnite or play Madden, then listen to the thing about the Anunnaki and Enki and all the rest of it, or listen to some, Muslim jurisprudence about, when it's time to marry. It's like I can, but like when I'm out in the real world and you have to take call and you have to deal with actual human beings, like it makes you, like, for a while, like looking at my, I ain't gonna say that. Yeah, so yeah, it's a good song. It's a good song. I also like the instrumentation, the guitar. That's the thing about the melodic death metal guys, man. Like they got that guitar down, bro. Like it's not just like a singy chorus. Like the guitar itself is melodic and still heavy. I think that's a part of melodic death metal that doesn't get a lot of credit. But like the guitar work is really, really good. Like you can't just have, like, we have a bunch of American bands that can do singing choruses. Like we do singing choruses, but like the melody in the choruses themselves are also badass. And the melody on this chorus is crazy. I really, really enjoyed it.
I love this one. And one last thing that I would say, it was the subtle nature of what the lyrics were saying, rather than the, like, there's a sort of violent side to death and how quickly it can come, and then, but then just the way that I just thought that this song was very artistic, and I appreciated the hell out of it. To be honest with you, I'm probably gonna listen to this one again. I wouldn't listen to it too much because I don't want to get myself into a slump. But I definitely liked it. This is a 9.8 for me.
I'm gonna give this one a 9.2. 9.2. Really good song, you beautiful people. We shall return.
We'll be back.
We shall return. We got more metal coming your way. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone. I think it's the song that you asked for, controller. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village. Facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch, indeed, and shall link them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener, yes, dear listener, yes, dear listener.
SGS's pick is up next. Fit for an autopsy.
Wonderful. Tremors is the name of the song. 12/14/44.
Tremors, yeah. Okay, so SGS says, you guys have reacted to Fit for an Autopsy before. This song is from their 2013 album with their original vocalist, Nate Johnson. The first time I heard this song, I put it on repeat over and over again. This shit helped me when I was in a dark place. Okay, so let's check it out.
Is that SGS the same?
Yeah.
All right, SGS. We gon' see. We gon' see, SGS. All right, the name of this song is Tremors. The name of this band is Fit for an Autopsy. Let's do
That's
it. Filled with dead dreams and dead friends.
Ooh, yeah.
Yuck.
That is a...
Yuck.
That...
All my friends are dead. What'd she say?
He said this shit helped me when I was in a dark place. I'm like, oh
who
my
said that?
God, yes, it must have been really dark if this song helped you. Oh my gosh.
Well, I mean, it's just like the ghost guy said yesterday, man. Like, you know, sometimes it's going to be difficult. You're going to cry. Other times you're going to be happy and dance.
Yep.
You know, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do.
I mean, it has this sort of like mountains of bones piled high for the picking. Lift our skin to the sky. Ugh, tremors won't end. When he says tremors, what are we talking about?
Yeah, like uncontrollable movements that people have when they have like traumatic memories or whatever that kind of catch them off guard type shit.
This is just the beginning.
I mean, that happens with me. Like, you can say it, it's okay.
Well, I'm not going to share your business.
Yeah, I can relate to that for sure. For sure. I'll probably have that for the rest of my life, though. You get flashes of shit. Like, if I have the movie running in the back of my head, then, like, it sucks, but, like, nothing happens. But if I get something that catches me off guard a lot of times, like, I'll have tremors and shit. But, you know, a lot of shit is self-reflective. People make decisions. Mountains of bones piled high for the picking, lift our skin to the sky. The tremors won't end. This is just the beginning. Unwanted fruit of the harvest, stillborn and barely living. The cries of the abandoned, stuck between the teeth of a life so fucking sickening. Watch them burn alive right in front of me. Watch them take my life out from under me. For nothing, we are nothing but an iron furnace filled with the ashes of our once great aspirations. This is not what we're meant to be. Scarred and blinded, my eyes have seen all they can see. Born with burden, place the blame on destiny. Shattered, cemented hearts. Ooh! Shattered, cemented hearts. I really like that line, bruh. Because your heart got cemented because it's hard. But it still can get shattered. You know, people try to harden their hearts so that their hearts don't break, you know. You don't want your hearts to get penetrated, so you harden your heart. But this is saying shattered, cemented hearts. Like, it doesn't matter. Your heart's still gonna break, bruh.
That's interesting, because I took that as shattered and cemented. So it was like shattered and then it was cemented in a shattered state so it can never get repaired.
Yeah, I just took it as he cemented his heart so that, you know, he wouldn't have to feel the pain, but then it got shattered anyway, which is really true. Whatever you do to try to avoid that pain or whatever, especially when he talks about dead friends, seeing people burn alive in front of him. I don't know what he means. Like, I doubt that that's literal, but I do have situations where I look at pictures and I see people and then I'm like, this person's gone, this person's gone, this person's gone. It's such a weird feeling to look at these pictures, like my family or friends, and just be like, yo, this person's like gone. I'm the only one left in this fucking picture. It made me think of that show, The Highlander. I used to be like, oh, Highlander is like, oh man, like he lives forever, and like you go to these flashbacks, he's in the 16th century, and there's another flashback, he's in the 18th century, and it's like, oh, it's so cool. And my mom would always say, what are you talking about? Like, this is horrible. This is a terrible curse. Everybody loves is dead. I'm like, yeah, but he gets new friends. Like, you get new friends. Like, I didn't understand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I could see how this song could get you through it because acknowledging that them pictures disappeared, people dying in front of you, and then saying, like, this shit not supposed to be like this. And then all your aspirations, like your aspirations being gone too, like your inability to follow through on those dreams. For whatever reason, like sometimes it doesn't have to be as dramatic as me and you had a plan or whatever, and then now you're gone. So like that aspiration and that plan is gone because, you know what I'm saying? Didn't have to be that. I also think like people hit those midlife crises or whatever, and it's like, oh, I didn't accomplish what I was supposed to do. And like your aspirations kind of die on the vine there too. So I don't know. There's a lot of this is Fred number 12. Unfortunately, that's smart. That's a very smart way of talking about what I said earlier. Go ahead. What were you saying?
I don't know what you mean by that.
I was talking to that person, Necromasochist 69, whoever they are. Go ahead.
My eyes have seen all they can see, born with burden. Place the blame on destiny. Place the blame on destiny.
What about it?
because you don't want to take the blame maybe on yourself or on somebody else or whatever, so instead you just blame it on destiny, like, oh, this is meant to happen. Is that what he means? That's what I got from it.
Yeah, I think people fall back on destiny when they can't deal with the ramifications of what's in front of them. They say, oh, this had to happen this way. They had to die in this car accident this way. They had to, whatever. And it takes a lot of the complications of dealing with the tragedy off the table. And I do think it's one of the ways of trying to cement your heart. People use theology and philosophy to do that. Like, I understand, like, God is sovereign, there's a plan, he works all for the good for those who love him according to his purpose. I understand that. But Jesus knew that too, and he still cried at Lazarus' funeral. Jesus knew that too, and he still wept over the city of Jerusalem, pretty loudly, by the way. Jesus knew what the plan was, and he still said, my God, why have you forsaken me? He knew what the plan was, and he still was crying in Gethsemane and talking about his anxiety and asking his friends to be there for him. So Jesus understood the sovereignty of God, obviously, and destiny, but he never used it to harden his heart or help him escape from the pain of the moment. He stayed in the moment and said, in the moment, this sucks. Deep down, somewhere under the surface, 50,000 feet beneath my heart, I understand that there's a plan, there's a rock, and there's stability there. But as it is right now on the surface, this fucking sucks. Jesus was a master at that. And we know, like, was it John 12, not my heart is troubled, and what shall I say? Father, save me from this hour, but for this very hour that I came into the world. Father, glorify your name. I think that's what it goes. And it's like, so he goes back and forth, and you have commentators who are like, oh, Jesus is unstable. Blah, blah. It's like, no, man. Like, no. He's not unstable. He is saying, now my heart is troubled. I have anxiety. What shall I say? Father, save me from this hour, but for this very hour I came. Father, glorify your name. And it's like, there is that part of it, and then when he goes to Gethsemane the night before, he does say, save me from this hour, right? And it's like, he's teaching us how to be human while understanding the reality of destiny. And, I see a lot of times, like, people use that philosophy of destiny or predestination, whatever you want to call it, or that theological principle. They'll use it to cement and deaden their hearts, because they think it's not going to break if they cement it with theology. And it can't be wrong if it's theology. If it's the Bible, it can't be wrong. It's like, well, yeah, the Bible can't be wrong from our view, but you can be wrong in how you interpret it and how you apply it, right? Like, Satan was quoting the Bible to Jesus.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think it's very, very important, whatever your philosophy is, to embrace destiny as a reality, as I do. But I'm also learning how to say, this fucking sucks in this moment, bruh. And to have to stay there and not use other means of escape. Like, I'm going to be going through Hell Month in a couple weeks. But, I got people around me and shit, so, I'm going to be good. And I got a good plan of dealing with it. But yeah, man, shit sucks, bro. It sucks. This is a 9.5. 9.5 for me.
9.5, wow. 7.9 for me.
There was too much crazy metal in your the Cookie Monster shit. You didn't like the Cookie Monster shit?
No, and it was even just like the feel of the song. I think for me, like, I do hear what you're saying as far as, like, using the sovereignty of God or destiny or whatever as a means of escape from feeling. And that actually really hit hard when you said that Jesus had anxiety at those points, because you're right, like, that is what you see when you read that stuff. And he did, obviously, who could have a deeper understanding of what the plan was and how everything was going to work itself out than him? And yet he still reacted that way. So yeah, and using that as an escape, I'm gonna have to think about that one because I hear what you're saying in that, but I also know what it is to be buried under the weight of, you know, this uncertainty or just unwavering heaviness that doesn't give any relief. And to me, this song kind of was, that's why I was like, SGS, how did you use this song to help you feel better? Because for me, it wouldn't work that way. Like, maybe for you, it would, but for me, like, this song was like,
definitely worked that way for me.
This one would be like, if I was gonna decide I didn't want to feel better. Like, that's how it would function for me. But that is, you know, I've talked about it before. That's like one thing that, like, I think is so fascinating about music is that you have some music that it takes you higher than you thought you could have gotten. Then you have other music that, like, you could have been feeling okay and you listen to that song and now you're in a totally different place. And so, like, some music you can listen to as, like, to get better. And then there are other, what did he say?
What? It's an outlet to deal with horrible emotions and depression.
Yeah.
That's how I view it.
Yeah,
for sure.
like, so some music, like, it makes me feel like, okay, I'm getting out of this. Then there's other one that's like, that matches exactly how I feel. And then there are other ones that it's like, you know what, I feel like I'm slipping backwards, and this one fits where I'm going to be in about 10 minutes. So, yeah, for this would not be bad. I'm gonna give this one, did I already rate this song?
Yeah, you gave it like a 7.4.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with what I gave it.
How dare you? How dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you? All right, guys.
All right, SGS. I'm glad that you were able to
Shout
find
out to
something
the
to
big
help
homie
you.
SGS and his business.
We have more to come, you guys.
More to come on the way. Commercial break. We'll be right back. Be there or be square. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Go. Come right back though. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of Alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Right? Stay with that, right?
Yeah.
Buy our merch, indeed.
Yes, do it.
What'd you say, do it?
Yes,
a
do
child
it.
shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener.
All right,
yes,
you
dear
guys.
listener.
What do we have next on our Imperishable Flame stream? Up next is Northern Scoundrel's pick, and he picked Hypermass. The name of the song is Headcase. This is an official music video.
All right, Headcase. Here we
Northern
go.
Scoundrel says, song taken from their newest release, an EP named Apparition Day, out the 7th of March. Picture taken by me, he said, is from the 2-day festival.
Of course. This guy has been to the most. He should. I'm going to call the Guinness Book of World Records on this fucking guy. Everywhere.
He's been there.
Later, SGS. Thank you for sharing that song, big homie.
Okay, so he says it was taken from the 2-day festival Nidderrock in Trondheim, 14th of February. Hung out a bit with the 2 of the members. Nice guys. All right, you guys.
Hey,
Here's the
Roby-Wan.
lyrics. I sent you the picture. Oh, hey.
What's up, Roby-Wan?
No, it's like Obi-Wan Kenobi, but Roby-Wan. Did I do it right? Roby-Wan? Roby-Wan.
How's that different from what I just said?
You did say it right.
Allahu Akbar.
I've been waiting for the moment so I didn't frick it up. Because he told me how to pronounce it on Patreon.
Pretty sure it's Roby-Wan Kenobi. Just changed my name. Didn't realize I could do that formerly necromasochist. All right.
Okay, here we go. There's his photo, and that's actually a pretty cool looking photo.
It's a badass photo.
And up next,
He said it is not an official video.
excellent.
He just
Excellente.
forgot to remove it when he was doing the thingamajig.
Okay, so I'll take that timestamp. Hypermass
236.
Headcase
Just do 236.
236.
Yeah. Hypermass Headcase is the name of this song. Because
do
in
it.
the end, I'm the head case you must face.
Ah!
So I dare you. There's a song called I Dare You. I dare you.
Don't dare me.
To
Dare
come
your
again.
diary.
Don't dare me, dare your diary.
Let's go.
You never used to appreciate the genius of that line.
I still don't get it.
Dear diary, don't dare me, dare your diary.
Dear and dare?
Dare and dare, yeah. Dear
Nobody
diary,
says dare diary. It's dear diary.
I don't say dear diary. I say
I
dear
did.
diary.
DEAR diary. When you would write in your diary, you would say dare diary.
It's like water. Everybody says water. We don't say water. There's some people that say water. Other
Yeah.
people say water. Tomato,
Water.
tomato. Are you
I
kidding
say
me?
water.
Are you kidding me? Don't dare me, dare your diary. All right.
Did you write that?
Hmm?
Did you write it? Where'd it come from?
Papoose.
Oh,
What?
I was like, oh no! You wrote it, and I'm sitting here being like, that's not how.
Well, I love Papoose so much, it's like an insult to me. Anyway,
Of course it
Hypermass is on the
Of
way.
course it is. Oh, jeez.
Almost hit me in the face.
I know. Remember back in the day?
Yeah, year one.
Elbows.
Be safe out there, Jet. All right, guys, here we go. Hypermass. Do we have anything in the thingamajig?
I already read it. Let's go.
All right. Headcase. Let's do it.
Hypermass.
song as well. I think that fella's feeling a bit volatile. Go ahead.
No, go first. Go first.
Well, I'm setting up this thingy here.
Oh, okay. Prime. Okay, first of all, the song, it just kept moving. Like there was no lull or calm in it. It just kept.
Yeah, you're right on. Was this one of your conveyor belt songs?
Not so much. It like a little, but not really. Primed the birds of prey, like a lion I will devour what's in my way. Sunk down in antipathy? Atomic fire deep in the marrow of my bones against the tide. I drank, can you say that word, the sanguine?
The sanguine oceans dry up.
I like that. Whoa, I thought that meant like really blue.
No, it's sanguine.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's blood.
Oh my gosh. Time to expire, all you desire. What? I'm sorry, babe.
And like consanguineous?
I know that you're right, but oh my gosh. I just didn't want that to be true.
But it's true.
It is.
It's true.
Okay, I was about to say I like that line.
You do like it.
No, now it's gross to me.
Well,
Because
sanguine's a very poetic word in this context. Go ahead, continue.
Okay. Now that the vultures feast on your mind. No, it's actually better if you talk, because there was this rotten state of I fucking hate the gaping jaws. There was a part in here. You can go.
Yeah, there seemed to be a part here that really stuck out to you. Which one is it?
Something about the mind.
Time to expire, all you desire. Now let the vultures feast
right
on
there.
your mind.
A brain untied, remolded chemically, and feeling volatile. I thought that was an interesting line because, you know, I was listening to this person talk about the influence of different chemicals and what they actually do to the brain. And so when he said remolded chemically, that's what it made me think of. It made me think of, you know, the brain is an interesting thing because everybody assumes, I guess, that the brain is what makes certain decisions in our body, but it's not necessarily true. So like, but the way that the brain works, it seems like, you know, there's patterns, and you can like, you have to do the work to change your mind on certain things because your mind gets so accustomed to doing things a certain way, or your brain does. So when he says remolded chemically, a brain untied, it just made me think of somebody making certain decisions to take, you know, certain chemicals into their body, and that it ends up like untying their brain and remolding them in a chemical sort of way, which is not necessarily the way that you want to be remolded. Like you can be under the influence of certain chemicals that make you want to live life a certain way or want to do certain things, but when you don't have those chemicals anymore, you're like, yeah, I'm not actually interested in that, so I don't know what was going on. Where I think, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I mean, the name of the song is Headcase, so it's pretty self-explanatory at that level. Mm-hmm. But now the vultures feast on your mind, this rotten state of flaccid hate, the gaping jaws of the synthetic maze. I do think, especially with the
when they said synthetic maze, it made me think of the plastic stuff you were listening to today.
Well, yeah, but it also a lot of the strains of weed now in the whatever they're made in a lab. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, weed, blah blah blah. Like, weed can drive you into psychosis. I mean, that's just a fact. Mm-hmm. And I think that you're going to see a lot more people, like, dealing with the ramifications of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, the constant marijuana use. Like, I do think that, like, in you know, obviously in moderation, it could actually be helpful. But for folks with extreme personalities, it can drive you into psychosis. And you can end up, you know, fucking people up, really. because he's I'm feeling volatile, and that kind of
Yeah.
irritability and things
Yeah.
like that. It's really interesting because it's like initially it's like, oh, it just calms you down, da da da. It's like, yeah, until it drives you to psychosis, and like it's documented. This is not, but the other side of it is like, you know, when people talk about the brain, like I think that people need to make up people are having a hard time making up their minds because the way they talk about the brain, they talk about the brain as if it is its own person that makes its own decisions and things of that nature. I think I'm much closer to Bernardo Kastrup's understanding of the brain, which is to say that the brain is a representation of how our soul operates. That it's not actually anything other than that. It's just the expression of that. In the same way that your child crying isn't sadness, it is the expression of sadness. Your brain is not thinking, it is the expression of what thinking looks like.
That's interesting.
And it's like, I was watching this thing about near-death experiences, and they were talking about brain activity, and it was really interesting. Like when a person was dying, in the process of dying, obviously their brain activity gets lower and lower and lower, especially the regions of your brain that deal with reason and consciousness and things of that nature. But when the subjects like died, their body died as far as the flat heart rate and things like that, all that shit shot up for about 2 minutes. So like the ability to reason was mega high. It was higher than a conscious person. And so it was like, who are you reasoning with at this point? Like your body's over with. Who are you reasoning with at this point? You see what I'm saying? And it's like, if Kastrup is right, and I think he is, I think what's happening is God, whoever, you're having that, you know, people have these conversations with people in near-death experiences. I follow this lady on YouTube, and she's a hospice person, and she has it as a stage in dying where they meet their family members, and she just, you know, like they have it as like your heart, this is going to happen with your body, your skin's going to clam up, this is going to, like she has that as you're going to see these people. Like people are going to show up and talk to you. Yeah. And so I think it's really, really fascinating. I think that what people are seeing in the brain scan is just the expression of that moment when they're being told, all right, we're out of here. You know, and so all of that shoots up. And people talk about this, like with near-death experiences where they say, I was more aware than I've ever been in my life. It was more real than anything in my life and all the rest of it. And, you know, physicalists try to pretend that the brain. I saw a thing one time where it was, they just took the brain and the spinal cord together.
Yeah.
And then they had eyes because there's actually part of your brain's in your eyes actually. And like, so it's got these two eyes, this brain and the spinal cord. It's like, this is everything that you are. And I laughed hysterically, but that's what they believe. They believe that's it. I think that's crazy.
Yeah.
I think that's a crazy idea. I think that Kastrup is probably a lot closer to the truth, which is to say, the brain doesn't control anything. It doesn't do anything. The brain is an expression of your will and your emotions in the world and how that works. And so when something gets lit up, it's just highlighting that particular aspect of your will. It's not highlighting your brain as if your brain is some independent actor from your will. But they have to say that because they don't believe in the soul. So they have to say that the brain, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so like when you have that understanding, like you're talking about vultures feasting on your mind and things like that, you let things into your consciousness that can really fuck you up.
Yeah.
Whether it's chemical, that has epigenetic effects on you, or whether it's environmental, whether it's personal. There's some people in your life that you know are unhealthy to be in your life, but you have some sort of addiction, and all those things conspire to screw with your mental health to where that volatility shows up. And in reality, the volatility is a defense mechanism against the bad chemical, the bad environment, and the bad person. It's actually a defense mechanism / cry for help. But you don't know that that's what's happening. you don't understand that. Hey, maybe you're in a cannabis-induced psychosis right now. Maybe you're like you don't know that that's happening. Maybe you're taking this out on this person because you've got a very toxic person in your life that you can't get rid of. Maybe I remember when I was in New York City. I'm seeing a lot of chat on the side about New York City, and like that place can turn you into a head case depending on where you were. It turned me into one. Seeing people's face cut open, seeing people shot, the randomness of some of these crimes, like it really like definitely turned me into a head case, and it turned me into a. I don't think I always loved violence when I was a kid. I loved the competition. You know what I'm saying? I loved the testing yourself, but I didn't become like a real. I became a bloodthirsty person in New York, and I think that was probably my reaction to that happening right in front of me, because I was like, okay, if this is gonna happen, then I'm gonna be this kind of person. Because the big thing for me was the randomness of it. It just seems so like it was. Some of it was random, like gang initiations, that whole 031 thing. Like it was random. You didn't have a problem with anybody, and they would just cut you because whatever, or they or folks got shot. I mean, when people got shot, like. The first time, I didn't even understand why, because dude was in the hood. Like, he was quiet. He wasn't one of those people. He was not a prominent member of us. And, like, for him to get hit like that, like, again, it was just a randomness. And, like, anytime somebody gets shot in the hood, people always try to find some way to rationalize. Oh, he was slipping here, or, oh, this is why you always get... Because people want to take that randomness out because it drives you insane. Because it's like anytime it can happen to you then. So you want to blame the person because like you love him, but you're going to blame him because it says right there, I'm diabolical.
I think you see variations of that with women when somebody ends up getting raped.
Yeah. Then
it's, oh, what was she wearing? Where was she? And it's like all these questions, but it's really trying to figure out how to make sure it doesn't happen to you. So, but it comes across so insensitively,
100%.
Obviously, and it is like you want to take away the randomness so that way you can say, okay, there's a reason, and if we avoid it, we can avoid it. So that makes sense what you're saying about New York.
Yeah, and not everybody handled it like that. So I'm trying to keep accountability for myself. Not everybody turned into a bloodthirsty, whatever I've become, and I'm trying to. Not be anymore. But, it turned me into a really diabolical, volatile, bloodthirsty person. And I felt like I was angry at the entire city. I felt like I was angry at the idea that I had to live like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm like, you motherfuckers, like, like this place could be, especially where we were going to school. It's called Co-op City. It was not like a Project Hood. It was like. Some of the apartments were like this, so it's like, why are we doing this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why do we have to go here? Like, Wolf and all them dudes was living in Co-op. Them dudes that knew Puff and killed Tupac, they were living in Co-op. Wow. It's like, what are y'all doing? Yeah. Like, I hated that shit. So, yeah, it definitely turned me into a very volatile, violent, bloodthirsty person. This is the first time I've ever said that, but I never said I was bloodthirsty, but I was. He's talking about like drinking in the sanguine oceans, like but I don't want to say like the place transformed me into that, because not even my friends were that extreme. My friends weren't like that. My brothers certainly weren't like that. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta have your own accountability for shit. But I definitely related to it. Nah, it did have an effect on me, man. Yeah. Epigenetics are real. Like I said, like with the. Like Bruce Lee, that was my first movie in America when I came to America. It was Bruce Lee, Enter the Dragon. I was so fascinated by the fact that this little guy could beat this bigger guy. Like there's one movie with Bruce Lee where he was fighting Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is like literally like 6'8", 6'9", almost 7 feet tall, and Bruce Lee is like shorter than me. Oh. And he beat the shit out of him. He won. He won the fight. And I was like so fascinated. So I looked at my stepdad. I'm like, yo. he's like, oh yeah, if you do martial arts, you can beat anybody. And that was it. Like, I became obsessed with it. Like, but it wasn't like a bloodthirsty thing. It was like, I'm a little guy, he's a little guy, but you can, and I could even out the scales, and I would learn a new move and try it on my brother, and it almost never works. You still end up with a jammy. I'm like, oh, I'm not Bruce Lee yet. So it was kind of like, it was like that. You know what I'm saying? It was like that. It wasn't like, But then when I went to New York and I saw all the shit that happened, I just couldn't handle. I think it's just too sensitive, and that sensitivity turned me into a headcase. I think it's.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but it's a really good song because lyrically I could really, really relate to it, especially when he says I'm feeling volatile. I'm like, that's tough. It's very, very tough. Anyway.
Wow.
Somebody asked about Right Here, Right Now. I am going to post the video in the chat for you. That is done on Rumble because if we did it on YouTube, it would be taken down immediately and we'd receive a copyright strike and lose the channel. So there it is. If you want to watch Right Here, Right Now, free of charge. By the way, when the Patreon watch along gets posted, it'll be there on Rumble as well. Okay, I'm gonna give this song a 9.6 because this is a song of the night for me.
Okay, give this one. I'm gonna go with an 8.8.
All right, guys, we got one more song, and you know how that goes. We are not going into commercial break. We're going right into it. Go to 2:58:30. We saw Hollywood Undead, actually, with Static X. It was a pretty good show. The name of this song is Kanonenfieber, Waffenbrüder. Lyrics in English and Deutsch, which I'm assuming is German, so
this is Middle Earth's comment.
Oh shit, this is Middle Earth.
Suggested by Controller of Minds, aka Northern Scoundrel.
Gang.
They're a German melodic black death metal song.
Better have some tremolo picking in that bitch. Waffenbrüder.
I have this album and it is excellent.
Kanonenfieber
Is German for cannon fever and is synonymous with the English language conditions shell shock or combat fatigue. All right, I'm going to send you the lyrics, Vincent, and we are ready to go.
All right, here we are. Shell shock, Morbid Angel, -4. Yeah, we had a interview with Static X. That's why we were at that show. And then we saw Hollywood Undead. That was the guy that had like the two masks where he was singing backwards.
Oh
with the
yeah,
mask.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, you really liked that band. You're like, oh, that shit's cool. That was the second time we saw it too, because we saw them with that other band, the band that has the circus type.
Yeah.
Vibe. I forgot the name of the band.
Can you pass me though?
Oh, you want the magic juice?
Are you?
All right, guys, here we go. I was telling Shorty to get you a tea, but here we are.
didn't even want to be there. They were drafted.
Yeah, but they wanted to be there for sure.
What do you mean?
Look what they said. Our breasts swelled with pride. They put the suit on us.
Oh.
We were sent to the front. Our uniforms swiftly issued. Our chests swelled with pride. Yeah, I mean, they wanted to, you know.
Okay. Still sad, you know, like that.
I mean, of course. I mean, you know, man, you know how shit go. Like, when you're young, you feel completely invincible.
Yep.
And you never think it's going to happen to you, man. Like, you never think that you're going to be on the wrong side of those kinds of engagements, man. You always feel like... It's weird, like... it's strange because I've seen it, like... And I understand it, but I was watching these... It was a foreign group, and their military, by American standards, was fairly weak. I remember thinking to myself, like, these guys are nuts. But, like, when you watch them in formation, and then you watch what they're doing, I mean, their weapons are inferior, and I'm saying inferior just in the technological sense. I'm not saying, you know, them dudes had heart like a motherfucker. So I'm not dissing those people. But I just know, like, if you understand what the U.S. military is capable of, you understand that you know, that's a 4-minute engagement. But, like, these young guys, they were saying, like, I don't know how anybody can beat us. You know what I'm saying? They're like, how can anybody beat us? And, like, when you see them in formation, if you don't know, it's like, yeah, like, man, they're trained, and they're, you know, they've been through hell, you know, they you know, they muscle up, they transitioned from civilian to, you know, soldier, and from, you know, regular person to, hey, I'm capable. You know what I'm saying? That's a big thing, that's the big capable. And I just remember looking at them and I'm like, this particular, I don't believe these kids are ever going to see any real war, which I'm thankful for. But, it was just, I was like, this is how they get us, you know. And I say us, I'm talking about young people. It's like, we're invincible. Like, look at this train. And you know, that's why it's a young man's game. Because, you know, young men, like, so I was watching this guy who was a dev group guy, and he was talking about how nobody in his unit died. I was like, damn. And, you know.
Wow.
It happens at times, especially in special forces groups, because they're not out there patrolling like everybody else. You know, they're doing a lot of DA shit. You know,
What, DA?
direct act. You know, like just going to people's houses, kicking down doors and shit. They don't have time to react. You got one group going here, and then you got one group with a vertical insertion.
Yeah.
You know, it's just too much. It's just like Fortnite, like. People,
Yeah.
you know, like when people come in and they're cheating, like it's
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
That's what it's like. And so it's like, I'm like, damn, I wish you wouldn't have said that, bro. Like, it was true, but I wish you wouldn't have said that. Because now, you got a bunch of kids watching you, and they're gonna jump on and be like, oh, if we're trained enough or whatever, we can go in there. And that particular unit, like, they came this close to out and out disaster, like 25% casualty situation. They came like this close. But the dude was saying it, like, I'll tell you later, he wasn't talking shit. Like, I've seen, like, he was, it was one of those, like, yo, he's done. He's finished.
Oh.
And he was, like, to the last mag type dude. Like, he was on his shit. And he thought he was going to die. And they didn't die. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy. He doesn't want to tell that story because it makes him look like a real badass. So he doesn't tell that story and the circumstances that happened around that story because he really was a badass. He got a silver star out of it, which, you know, I mean, that's valid advice, you know. But he doesn't want to talk about that because that kind of violates the ethos. You don't want to, you know. But the effect is, you went to war, you were highly trained, and nobody in your unit died. And then the one time when they were in a lot of trouble and they could have lost 25%, he won't talk about it because, and he's not thinking to himself like, because now he's in his mid-30s. So he understands, like, common sense, like, if it's war, it's over for you. See what I'm saying? So, like, I was like, damn, man, like, I really wish you wouldn't have said that, you know. And they were talking about, you know, the name of the song is basically Shell Shock or whatever, Kanonenfieber or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy is describing, you know, this time with his friend when they were in a campfire and all this. And like, I watched the kids and, you know, it's something, it's just in boys. Like, our boys make sniper rifles and shit, you know, because we're playing Fortnite and whatever. And there's a lot of shit you can look at in Fortnite to replicate that's fun. Like driving a car or surfing on the wind or whatever. But what my boys are replicating is that, and I'm not, I know all the Europeans are like, that's because you're such a, I'm telling you, I don't do that with my boy. And I don't do it. I'm talking about the babies.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just part of it. When you're young, you want to get in the mix with that shit, man. Like, especially if you're a boy, you want to get in the mix of that shit. You're with your best friend, you really believe. You truly believe that, you know.
Man.
So, yeah, it's a crazy situation for sure. But I love the song. I love the tremolo. The tremolo was crazy. The music was mega emotional. Lyrically, it was mega emotional.
It was, yeah.
But I love the song. Somebody said they were like, yo, the Vin song of the night's gonna change, and I was like, they're absolutely fucking right. Like, this is a song of the night for me. This is a song of the night for me. This is actually the song of the month for me. You get the irony?
Oh.
It's the only song we've had in the month. We've been out since February in this bitch.
Yeah, I think, the song itself was, you know, I could see the side of it you're talking about, like the, you know, they're working together, the aspect of they had these dreams and now they're doing it and they're badasses out there or whatever. But yeah, I to wake up in that situation and your person's gone, like that you've been, that's just gotta be really a tragic pain that, yeah. So yeah, the song was emotional and stuff. But I guess it was German, right?
Mm-hmm.
German always has this sort of aggressive kind of sound to it.
Yeah, it does.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, it was good though. So
I think German is like God created Germans for metal for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
You know, they're just, it's just very serious all the fucking time with them people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved this song. I love this song. It's a 9.8 for me.
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna give this one a 9.
The metal was crazy too. The tremolo was beautiful. This is exactly what we need in black metal.
That was Middle Earth's pick. So
And
shout out to Middle.
it was kind of easy for me to follow along with the lyrics too.
Yeah.
Like, I was like right there.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, because German and English, like when he said 16, 19, like there were a couple parts where it sounded like almost exactly English.
I got kind of taken by the story, and I was like reading ahead to see what was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you.
Ben goes, I actually made it to the end of the imperishable flames. Hurrah!
Oh.
Yeah, you did, Ben. I think you. There's another villager. I'm not gonna mention their name yet, but there's another 8-song stream coming up from another villager pretty soon here. So we want to work, man. We want to work. If you're in Patreon, like we're coming for you. Like I'm shooting videos. I'm getting very, very active in Patreon because I'm determined to make that valuable for y'all. Because you guys stuck with us through all my Bolshevik. 10. Reminded me of Karak Angren. Yeah, the funerary dirge of a violinist.
Yeah. Yep.
Yo, that
That was a
video
good one.
was fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Terrible video.
But the song was
But
great.
a badass song, especially that melody thing.
Yeah.
Then God created Germans. It's also a language developed. So you mean God steered humans to develop it? And yes, controller. That's what I meant. That's what I meant. Okay. Controller suggested it. I agree. Shout out to Controller. That was a good one, Controller. I'm sure you've seen this bad 5,872 million times, you Lucky bastard.
All right, you guys, thanks for coming through. Don't forget, on Patreon, there is the full list of the upcoming streams and also the channel winners. So check that out. That's public, so you don't even have to be a patron to be able to see that, because we don't want anyone to miss a stream.
Everybody should jump on Patreon for real, because there's an unpaid section, and like I said, I'm going to be doing updates on Patreon that I will not be doing on YouTube. Although I have picked up some YouTube updates as well. We've also been posting on YouTube. I'm telling you guys, like, we're going for it. So, but we've said that before. So, I want to prove it to you guys with action. So there you are.
All right, you guys.
Actually, only twice. What do we do only twice? Hurry up and tell me what we did only twice, controller. Daylight Savings,
Maybe
lost
it was
1
a
hour
song.
during the scene. I thought Daylight Savings was already done.
Yeah.
Are we
it's
on
been
Daylight
done.
Savings right now?
Yeah.
Well, it's saying it's only 1:30. We started pretty late, so
What?
I don't know.
Daylight savings happened.
What do you get? Don't you get a free shirt on the $15 tier after you clear
No,
2
that's
weeks?
the 25, 20 and 25.
Okay, we got to come up with something you get for the $15 tier. We are going to be doing some. Oh, we're going to have Metallica Mondays. We're going to have Guns N' Roses. I don't know if that's Tuesdays or whatever. Oh, he's only seen the band twice. Has there been another Kanonenfieber song? There was another one, right, that you did?
Yeah, it was March 9th, Daylight Savings Time.
Because I'm trying to find. There was one other song. I'm pretty sure it was them. Reaction: Dead Horse, Guns N' Roses. Yeah. Yeah, guys. That's all coming up on Patreon. Okay, guys.
All right,
we
you
gotta
guys.
get out of here. It's mega.
Have a good night.
Good luck, everybody. We are out. Finn out.
Sorry out.
Go.